Finding the best drone for a particular need is not easy, but there's also never been a better time to buy a flying camera. Whether you're a complete beginner or a professional photographer who's looking to add a new dimension to your stills or video, the latest drones combine great image quality, ease of use, and impressive value for money. In this video, we will be reviewing the 5 best drone cameras available in the market. We spent ample time in researching on internet and selected the 5 best drone cameras for you. So, it became easy for you to make a buying decision. So, without further ado, let's get started. Number 1 in our list is DJI Mavic Air 2 Drone Quadcopter UAV. The Mavic Air 2 is DJI's mid-tier entry in its small, folding drone series. Thanks to its design, it can be stowed in most camera bags, and it doesn't skimp on safety features. Its camera uses a quad bay design for crisp, detailed photos and 4K HDR video, and footage is silky smooth. If you're looking to spend less than $1,000 on a new drone, the Mavic Air 2 is our editor's choice. The Mavic Air 2 is a bit bigger all around than its predecessor, the Mavic Air, but you probably won't care. At 3.3 by 3.8 by 7.1 inches and 1.3 pounds, it's slim enough to find a space inside most photographers' gear bags. The footprint is larger when the arms are extended and the drone is ready to fly, but the profile is still pretty low. You may not be able to take off from a lawn if the grass isn't freshly cut, but you can typically find an appropriately flat patch of dirt or asphalt to launch. It's heavy enough to require registration for use in the US. The fee is a nominal $5. If you're thinking about buying a drone but aren't sure about where you're allowed to fly, take the time to read it before you make the decision to add one to your kit. DJI rates the Mavic Air 2 for 34 minutes of flight on a fully charged battery. Assuming you're not flying in windy or otherwise difficult circumstances, you'll have no problem flying for a half hour at a time. There are a number of built-in features to improve safety when flying. Forward and rear sensors detect and avoid obstructions. You need to turn them on in the app. There's a downward-facing sensor used to help keep the drone hovering in place when low to the ground and flying indoors without the aid of GPS. DJI went back to the drawing board for the Air 2's remote. It's completely redesigned, dropping the LCD and moving the phone clip from bottom to top. It's a bit bigger all around and finished in an attractive gray plastic. It charges via USB-C and connects to your phone via a short cable stowed in the top. The Lightning cable for iOS devices is installed by default, but you also get micro USB and USB-C cables in the box. The Mavic Air 2 uses the DJI Fly app. It's available for Android and iOS platforms. The app shows the view from the camera lens, swappable with a Google Maps view of the area in which you're flying with a tap on the screen. On-screen controls swap between different camera settings and flight modes. With the Mavic Air 2, DJI gets just about everything right. The drone is as small as it needs to be, stowing in a small bag with ease, so you can roll some footage at the end of your favorite hiking trip. Number 2 in our list is DJI Mavic 2 Pro. The Mavic 2 Pro maintains the foldable design debuted by its predecessor. This allows the drone to almost have its footprint for transportation, making it the most portable drone with a 1-inch sensor available. Folding is simple and requires the front arms to be rotated out and the rear arms to be twisted up and into position. Each arm is home to one of 4 propellers. The main body of the Mavic 2 Pro is compact and rectangular, with the gimbal and camera mounted at the front bottom of the drone. The camera and gimbal benefit from a raised position when the drone is sitting on the ground, so there's ground clearance for takeoff or landing. To switch the Mavic 2 Pro on, you simply press and hold the button on the top of the battery that clips neatly into place at the top of the drone. For the controller, it's a case of pressing the power button briefly before pressing and holding again to switch it on. And don't forget to connect your smartphone with the DJI Go 4 app installed, because this provides access to drone settings, camera controlled, and camera view. The controller itself is also compact and foldable, with joysticks that are stowed safely at the bottom of the controller and need to be screwed in place for use. The controller looks similar to a standard radio controller, but the sticks are used for very different maneuvers to an RC car, so it's worth familiarizing yourself with them before your first flight. Many camera controls need to be accessed via the app, but the controller also provides 11 direct access controls that allow you to quickly access a number of commonly used functions. Many of these can also be customized like function buttons on a DSLR or mirrorless camera, so you can configure the controller in a way that works for you and your photography. The DJI Go 4 app provides a similar layout and camera functionality to a compact camera, so most photographers will instantly feel at home here too. Flying the DJI Mavic 2 Pro really couldn't be simpler. This is thanks in part to GPS, which holds the drone in position and stops it from getting blown out of position by the wind, and safety features like collision avoidance, which uses omnidirectional obstacle sensing that helps you avoid crashing. These features are truly incredible, but don't let them lull you into a false sense of security. Despite being active by default, they won't necessarily stop the drone from crashing into objects. On paper, the Mavic 2 Pro can fly for up to 31 minutes, which is more realistically 20 to 25 minutes, with a maximum speed of up to 45 miles per hour, that is 72 kilometers per hour, so losing control or crashing will likely have expensive consequences. Beyond the safety aspects, the Mavic 2 Pro offers numerous shooting modes and automated intelligent flight modes aimed at making getting specific types of stills and video as easy as possible. As with any camera, it's better to approach most techniques manually by taking full control of the drone's flight, but these automated modes are great for beginners learning their craft. You get time-lapse and hyperlapse, quick-shot, active track, point of interest, waypoint, tap fly and cinematic. Stills shooting modes include single shot, burst mode, HDR, EB, hyperlight, night mode, interval and pano, which offers a number of different panoramic shooting options. The Mavic 2 Pro's 3 main flying modes can also be accessed from within the app or using a switch on the side of the controller. Tripod mode slows the drone and makes it less responsive to allow for smoother video. Positioning mode is the standard flight mode and provides a medium level of control, while sports mode makes the Mavic most responsive and flies faster. The Mavic 2 Pro's image quality is very good overall, as long as you don't expect quite the same level as you'd get with a DSLR or mirrorless camera. Most drones feature a sensor that's similar to that of a mobile phone, but thanks to a 20 megapixels 1-inch Hasselblad sensor, the Mavic 2 Pro's sensor is much closer to a premium compact in terms of size and overall image quality. Number 3 in our list is DJI Phantom 4 Pro. The Phantom 4 features an ultra-lightweight magnesium alloy body finished in a brilliant white. It feels far more solid and weighs 1,380 grams. The physical design of the camera has been refined, and part of the 4's bulk can be attributed to the partial integration of the gimbal into the body of the drone and the new larger battery. Preparing the Phantom for its first flight requires the battery and propellers to be fitted, but this takes less than a minute. The final step before takeoff is to connect the Phantom to a mobile device. The Phantom 4 uses a physical wired connection between mobile device and handset. This has the advantage of a fast, secure connection and doesn't require a Wi-Fi connection to be made out in the field. Once the drone is assembled and your mobile device is connected, the controller can be switched on, followed by the Phantom 4. It's then just a case of waiting for 6 GPS satellites to be picked up before you take to the air. The time taken to make the GPS connections varies between a few seconds to a few minutes, depending on the conditions. Return to home mode is enabled automatically when the drone takes off, but it can also be set manually. This is one of the most important features you need to be aware of, as if it all goes wrong it will help to avoid flyaways. The Phantom 4 is powered by a single battery which slots into the rear of the craft. The battery features a set of lights that indicate the amount of charge left, giving a handy visual guide to flight times. Using the Phantom for image capture is extremely straightforward, with direct controls available on the handset and in the app. Other settings, including frame rates and resolutions, can be changed through the app's interface, and it's easy enough to quickly switch between stills and video. There are auto and manual options for both stills and video, which can also be selected through the app. Manual mode enables you to adjust. Number 4 in our list is DJI Mavic Mini. Mavic Mini is the perfect name for DJI's latest drone. It is collapsible, with arms that unfurl to transform it in a couple of spring-loaded maneuvers. When it comes to looks, this is a DJI product through and through. The color scheme is gray and dark gray, and its front is adorned with a pair of eyes muzzled under a flat, beveled, angry-looking topside. It's one of the better-looking drones we've seen. On the front of the Mavic Mini is the 3-axis stabilized camera. Out of the box, it's shielded by a camera guard, which is removable when you come to fly it. On the back are an exposed micro South Dakota card slot and a micro USB port for charging. Above these is the battery flap. DJI's design is much more convenient for frequent storage swappers as mentioned. The Mavic Mini is purpose-built to weigh a fraction under 250 grams so that it can bypass the need to be registered with aviation agencies in the US, UK and Australia. DJI has achieved this by teaming a drone that weighs around 150 grams with a roughly 100 grams battery. The Mini isn't crash-proof, however, there are no obstacle avoidance sensors on its sides, front or back. That said, there are a couple of sensors at the base to enable smooth landings, along with a battery meter and a light so that you can keep tabs on your drone in the air and keep it in line of sight, even at night. The Mavic Mini's arms are relatively slender. If you're a newbie, anticipate flying indoors, or know you will be flying in strong winds, it's worth picking up the Fly More bundle to get the 360-degree propeller guard. Unlike some other drone controllers, the DJI Mavic Minis doesn't include a screen, instead it unfolds to hold an Android or iOS smartphone. Tucked away in its body are screw-on joysticks so that when it's collapsed the controller has a flat profile and when opened out it delivers a traditional feel. On the left side of the controller is a micro USB port for charging and connecting it to your phone. The drone also ships with Lightning, micro USB, and USB-C cables, so whatever smartphone you have, provided its software is compatible with the DJI Mavic Mini's Fly app, you're catered for. The DJI Mavic Mini shoots 2.7K video at 30 frames per second or 1080 pixels video at 60 frames per second. Its 1x2.3-inch sensor can also capture 12 megapixels images across a range of modes, including position mode for basic operation, sports mode for more high-speed flight, and sign smooth mode, which lengthens braking time and slows things down for smoother shots and more cinematic footage. The Mini connects via Wi-Fi, transmitting the live video feed to the controller, which plugs into your phone and engages with the app. At number 5, we have DJI Inspire 2. Inspire 2 is a tougher copter thanks to its revised aluminum shell. The carbon fiber arms mean bumps and bashes won't damage the unit, with the only weak spots being the plastic, quick-release propellers, which are easily replaceable should they get damaged, and the camera itself, which is also replaceable, although at a much greater cost. The build quality is almost irrelevant, however, because of the sheer number of countermeasures DJI has included in the Inspire 2. The aforementioned FPV camera and obstacle avoidance system track for incoming objects 30 meters ahead, while the upward-facing infrared sensors scan for objects 5 meters above the drone, which is handy when you're flying in enclosed spaces. Terrain detection sensors fitted to the bottom of the Inspire 2 round off the package. The Inspire 2 is controlled with a dedicated remote that links to the drone via a powerful pair of antennae. There's no screen, so you have to connect your Android and iOS smartphone to the remote via a wired connection. You also need to install DJI's Go 4 app and not the DJI Go app used with the Inspire 1 and other, older DJI models. DJI's ZenMuse line of cameras has grown alongside its range of drones, and the latest offering, the X5s, has been designed with the Inspire 2 in mind. A micro 4/3 snapper, it has a bigger sensor than previous iterations, which means more detail and more vibrant colors. It's really is like having a high-end professional stills camera in the air, enabling you to take some truly awe-inspiring static images. When it comes to video, the Inspire 2, when twinned with the X5s, creates a setup which most industry professionals would be envious of. 4K might be big news with other drones, but this bad boy can record in 5.2K, albeit at 30 frames per second. 4K is possible at 60 frames per second, and you can scale down to 720 pixels if you wish, although when the footage is this good, heaven knows why.